Good evening, everyone. I'm Mike Jackson. Thank you for joining us tonight at 6. Downgraded to a Category 1 storm and making landfall in South Carolina, Hurricane Matthew still dangerous as flooding, the main concern along the coastal Georgia and all throughout the Carolinas. At least 10 people have died as a result of the storm. Tonight, team coverage of this powerful hurricane up and down the East Coast. We'll begin with Scott McLean.
Hurricane Matthew
Savannah,
packed
Georgia.
a major punch all up and down the East Coast without actually making landfall until South Carolina. But check out the damage it's left behind here in Savannah. These trees have literally been uprooted, pulled out by the roots by the strong winds. There is a whole row of them up and down this historic waterfront here. In Savannah, the danger is largely over, but others are still very much in the way.
It's still a very serious situation, and we are not out of the woods.
A downgraded Category 1 Hurricane Matthew made landfall over South Carolina's central coast Saturday morning between Charleston and Myrtle Beach.
The storm is today and starting to pass certain areas, but all areas still remain dangerous that we have to be cautious with.
And as Matthew starts to move toward North Carolina, officials are still warning people to stay vigilant.
I'm extremely concerned, since this hurricane has been downgraded, that people will let up their guard. And it's these types of hurricanes that settle over our state that have caused the most damage and loss of life and destruction.
In Savannah, Georgia, very strong winds uprooted trees and took down power lines, and heavy rain caused flooding that swamped roads. Rainfall totals are expected to be more than 12 inches in some areas. Meanwhile, in Florida,
Matthew really churned up our water. There's unbelievable amounts of beach erosion.
the cleanup is beginning after Matthew battered areas like Daytona Beach, St. Augustine, and Jacksonville. Dozens of homes and businesses have been damaged, and more than 800,000 people are still without power. Hurricane Matthew claimed several lives in Florida, but left hundreds dead in the Caribbean, most in Haiti.
And you're looking at a live picture from Charleston, South Carolina, where Governor Nikki Haley is getting set to address reporters on the latest from that state and any fatalities they may have had. So far, we know there have been at least 10, including 3 in the state of Georgia. One gentleman was actually found dead in his home in Savannah after a tree fell onto his roof. Now, here in the city, most things are relatively undamaged. There's not a whole ton of flooding beyond some localized area, but the city is really shut down because of widespread power outages. Police are also blocking some people from getting in town until they've been able to deal with some of those larger bits of debris and also some of those trees on power lines as well. Live in Savannah, Georgia, I'm Scott McLean.
Thanks so much, Scott. NBC